Hi guys, this is Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. I'm actually restarting recording on this. I created these cute little bags, but for some reason some of my recording didn't work, so I'm going to just start over. These both were created using some pattern paper. This was from just a pattern paper pack from Paper Studio. It is some thin paper, so you can make these using thin paper, and I think they turned out great, and they do. It's not really that hard to fold all the pieces. This one was using a piece of a pattern paper pack from Spellbinders. This was part of the Have a Springy Day paper pack, and that was part of the card kit of the month this month. And I figure I can use some of the embellishments, the ephemera, from the paper pack to decorate this one up. So I'm going to be doing that in a bit. But what I decided to try, since I just did two different ones with paper, with pattern paper, this one's really pretty thin. This one is thicker, but it is a bit thin too. So this time I'm going to try it with some cardstock. This is some Spellbinders cardstock. I think this is 100 pounds. So what I think I'm going to do is actually cut them out of both the heavyweight, that's this one, and some lighter weight cardstock that I've got from, this is some Michaels. I think that color looks kind of cool. I think this one's kind of a tealish color. So I'm going to do two more bags and do them out of some lighter weight cardstock. These are the dies that come in that set from Spellbinders. This is part of the Celebrate You collection, and it's just the two dies, but it's everything you need to create the bags. You do want to cut these out twice, and you can see all of these little score lines that show you where you need to fold your paper, which, like I said, when you're using thinner paper is pretty easy to do. So let me go ahead and cut those out, and then we can start putting those little bags together. Okay, first off, this is right at just under 5.5. You can see that this line I have drawn here on the washi is right at my 5.5 inch mark from the edge, so that I have just enough room. So you do have enough room to be able to cut out an entire bag from one sheet of cardstock. If you're using the pattern paper, since it is 6 by 6, you've got plenty of room, and you've got a little bit of extra on the side if you slide the die all the way over to the side to be able to cut out your little handle. So that works out pretty good. So first I'm going to cut these two pieces of cardstock down to 5.5 each. Okay. So now I've got two that are the heavyweight cardstock and two that are the lightweight cardstock. I think I'm going to start off with the lightweight and just run that through my Platinum 6 machine that I have sitting over here off to the side. And like I said, because this is, this is exactly 5.5 inches, so you've got just barely enough room. Okay, so I'm basically lining that up on the edges there. And let's go ahead and run that through my Platinum 6. Okay, and now you can see, let me see if I adjust the lights, if you can see the score lines a little bit better. There you go. So you can see that there are these little score lines there, and those are the places that you're going to want to fold your card. Okay, so I've got all of those cut out. Now with the scraps you have left over here, because it's only 5.5, it's not quite long enough to count for this strap. I'm thinking having it just a little bit shorter isn't really going to matter all that much, so I think I'm going to go ahead and cut out the straps too from all of this, and they're just going to be about right about a little bit less than ½ inch short, and that should still be fine. You also don't have to use the die for this. You can just cut the strips for whatever width you want. These are basically right at 1/4 inch. So 1/4 inch strips would work fine to be able to make your handles. So I'm going to put that off to the side for the moment, and I'm going to go ahead and start working on assembling these guys. Now, because they are, because of those score lines, it is sometimes a little bit tough to see them, and I'm thinking it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult to fold them fold them easily anyway, using this heavier weight of paper instead of this lightweight paper. So what I'm going to do this time is I am going to go ahead and use my scoreboard to score those lines. Now the hard part is seeing exactly where those lines are. And then you'll want to line up the line with the score mark in your scoreboard in order to get them right. So I'm first going to do the vertical ones. So now you can see that line a little bit better. This one is right about here. So I'm actually going to crease that a little bit on the end so it's easier for me to find, and the same thing with the second one. And that way I can just line them up with the mark in my scoreboard. And create that score that I can see a little bit better so that I can fold it a little easier. Do the same thing with this one. Okay, and then we've got all of the vertical pieces. Now we need the horizontal. Do the same thing with it. And I can see it a little bit, but I want to make sure that you guys can see it too. Just adding to the existing score line. Okay, then the other lines that are on here that need to be scored, instead of being vertical or horizontal, those are at an angle. So I have this cool little tool. It's actually made for the Score Envy, but I'm just using it on the scoring board that I have. And what I need is a diagonal right there, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to butt the edge of my paper up and find that piece there. There we go. And then I'm going to score to this corner here. Now this creates a bag that doesn't fold flat. So I'm just turning it over this time, and that way I can see where I've already scored. I'm going to line that up with one of my grooves and go ahead and score that side. And now I've got this bit here that we needed to have to be able to fold the bag. I'm going to do the same thing with my other piece of cardstock. So now we can go ahead and start assembling our card. Now the first step to do that is to basically glue the pieces together. And the way that works is we've got this thin line here that's going to attach to the wider line on that side, and the same thing on the other. So I just need a piece of score tape to go down that edge. Okay, and again I am using my trusty scoreboard to help me get everything lined up. Before I do that though, I am going to go ahead and burnish these, make sure everything is where it needs to be. And this helps me to see that the gusset is actually the right size. Okay, so this gusset is going to be adhered right there. See what I mean? Okay, so let's take that double-sided adhesive off. Butt everything up right at the edge, and then I'm going to take this piece and basically tuck it down onto the edge and attach it to that double-sided adhesive tape. And it should be right up against the edge. Come on. You do want to make sure that the parts that have got the diagonals are both on the same end, otherwise you're going to have kind of an upside down. Nothing's going to work right on your on your little bag. Okay, so there we go. We've got one side done. And now we just have to add some double-sided adhesive on this other side. Take the release paper off. And press everything back down. And now we have got the beginnings of our little bag. So for the bottom side, what we need to do is, the way I think of it is like when you're wrapping a package. First you put the paper around your box, and then at the end you fold a couple pieces in, right? Which this would have helped if I had actually folded on the diagonals first, which I did not do. Glad I scored them well enough. So we're going to, actually, this was going to help. Okay, so that's broken just a little bit. The sides go in. The two sides go in. And that's going to form these little triangles on the sides. Just like when you're wrapping a present. So that's like the end of the box down there. Okay? And then we just need to adhere these down to the bottom. So for that, I am just going to use some more of that score tape. Go ahead and adhere that part down. I'm putting my hand inside so I can give it a little pressure and help to burnish that in. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And now we have this cute little bag. And there are a lot of ways that you can decorate it. I've seen folks do embossing on, going through with an embossing folder on the main panels, putting panels on top, all of those good things. So I think what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and gather up some things to start putting things together. And then we can see about decorating our little bags. So for my first bag, I decided to go into my little scrap bins of all the extras that I've had so far this spring, and I'm going to use this cute little bunny. And this is basically just the scrap from where I created the box to give me an idea of what it's going to look like flat before I start putting everything together. What I do want to do is add a little dimension behind the ear, so I'm going to do a few layers of cardstock behind that. So that's the first piece that I'm going to do. And this is just, like I said, just a piece of scrap from my scrap bin. And I think 4 layers of cardstock behind that ear should be enough to pop it up nicely. And if it turns out that I have any edges that are too big for the ear, I can always just trim those down a little bit. And it all fits just fine behind my little ear, so that is perfect. And you could use some foam tape for this. I'm just choosing this time to use some cardstock. Okay, let that dry for a minute. And then I've got this little flower, I believe was from the same set. And there are these little centers that also come with that same die. So I'll go ahead and adhere that together. And then I will put that right on the end of this hello stem. That is going to be adorable. I'll put the ear down first. I want it to actually be on the bag instead of hanging off. And now we can go with the face. Go ahead and add some adhesive to the back of this ear. I also have a couple of these gold bows that I had die cut out during that other project. We go ahead and add one of those down. I think I want this to be a girl bunny, so I'm going to put it up in her hair. And then add a little bit of glue behind this little sentiment. That is super cute. Okay, so I'm going to start working on this bag, decorating it up. And what I'm going to start off with, not sure 100% what I'm going to do on that one, but what I wanted to start off with is this Glimmer Sentiment. Now, I had done this sometime last week. I went ahead and glimmered up a few different sentiments from one of the new sets. This one is from the Week Dance Glimmer Sentiments, and I'd already trimmed it out, but now I'm deciding I think I want to use this cute fishtail banner that is another one of the dies that is in the Celebrate You set. So I am going to center that over my happy birthday, and I'm going to basically recut it so that it's got that nice little banner. And then another die that comes in that set is this piece, which cuts cardstock string, if you will, to attach your little banner with. So let me go ahead and run both of those through my Platinum 6. Let me tape this in place first. And what's nice is this one is actually perfectly sized for this little, for this sentiment. The sentiment is right at a, looks like it might be a 1/4 inch, but I think it's actually a little bit bigger than that. But let me go ahead and tape that down and tape it to my magic mat, so hopefully it won't shift at all. And then I'm going to just take a piece of scrap, and I know it's not the right size, but I don't necessarily need the whole thing, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut that one out as well at the same time. And I have a second string, so that looks good. Let's see how this one came out. And that looks pretty much perfect. Okay, I am still going into my extras. And something that this made me think of is, since we've got that little hole, I'm thinking I want to attach this to my bag with a brad. So now I just need to decide which side do I want that to hang from. I'm kind of wanting it to hang at an angle as well, so that means I'm thinking also I'm going to put some adhesive on the back to hold it in place. First, let me go ahead and add my little hole up here in the top. And I'm just using my pokey tool to poke a hole in there. And then I'll attach my little banner. Also wondering, should I put another color behind it, do another banner? Well, I can, because I'm just doing this with the brad, I can always change my mind later and add something more if I want. Okay, so I'm not going to attach that completely yet, but that does look kind of cool. Also wanting to add some of these little balloons, and I'm thinking that this little would supposed to hold our little banners, would work great to hold our little balloons. And it's not going to really be seen, but then again, I think that's pretty much okay. So let me go ahead and just add this to the back of one of my balloons here. And that I think will look good. Yeah, that looks good. We go ahead and add some adhesive to the back of the entire thing, and then I can put this down on the front of my little bag. My little brad with my little brad in the hole, and then right about there, that's gonna be good. Okay, and now my second bag is done. For this third bag, I'm reaching into my ephemera and thickers and basically my club kits stash. This one is from the January set and had all these really cute little flags, and I think I want to use one of those, and I think I want to use one of the thickers that's on the front too. So I'm really liking this one that says smile. And then these little bouquets are from this last month's ephemera pack. Every one of the ephemera packs from Spellbinders has got tons of flowers, and I think that they are just lovely and would work for so many different things. I've also used these in my planner, and I mean, I have always had a problem with trying to even use ephemera because, number one, I didn't actually color everything up. So that's one of the bits, but the second one is you only get so much and then you run out. But I am finding that there is so much in each of the club kits, in each of the card kits of the month from Spellbinders, that you're unlikely to be able to use it all up when you are on, when you're getting these each month. So I have still got a lot from January and February and March that I still need to use up, and that's going to be a lot of quick and easy cards for whenever I need some cards. But this is another way that you can use your ephemera. It's just adding it to a pretty little gift bag to basically customize it. So now I'm taking this Smile Thicker. That's what I call them. I think there was a brand or something like that at least a couple years back. But these are basically glitter foam stickers. So they are thick because of the foam, and they are stickers because of the adhesive, and they are all nice and shiny and glittery. So just add that smile across there, and I missed one of the little bits that's stuck in there. Let me get that out of the E. Okay, and we don't want to forget the little tittle. Okay, so now it's in the right place and it's kind of stuck there, so I am going to press it in to make sure that that stays. And then I do want to use one of these, and I think I'm going to go with this one that just says, "Just for you." And then stick it up near the top so it looks like it's attached to the top. And then that one is all done. For this last bag, it's kind of plain, but it's springy because of the yellow. I decided I'm going to use some of the dies from the I Dance die set. It's again another one of the new ones from this new March release. And I cut out a bunch of little flowers and a coffee cup, and I also had this sentiment left over when I was doing my doing a little bit of a glimmer session last week. So I've got this one that says, "Sending a cup full of hugs." And I think it's from the Celebrate You Select. I will definitely link down below which sentiments, which Glimmer Sentiments sets that's from. So I've cut out a bunch of these flowers and a bunch of the greenery to go with it, and the coffee cups, and I'm just going to start assembling some of these, and then I'll decide, how I want them to go on the front of that little bag. And each of these pieces, this little coffee cup, has some embossed lines to let you know where you need to line up your little koozie on the front. And then of course we've got the piece that is for the lid. I'll put that on there too. And this is probably more than enough to go on the front of that, excuse me, front of that bag. For the flowers, I figured I would go alternating with the colors. And we've basically got some pink and light pink. Dark pink, light pink, and I think that's going to be pretty cute. You could also go in and kind of round the petal shapes a little bit to give it a little dimension, but this is a gift bag, so I figured I'm not going to put that much dimension on. And I figure this is going to be quite a bit of dimension anyway, just from the layers of cardstock. And then I cut out a couple of the smallest bits, and I'm going to make a couple of small flowers to go on this as well. And I think that is going to be perfect for the front of this coffee mug. It's kind of where you do it, and then as an afterthought you think, I bet that's where it belongs. And sure enough, that is exactly where that little flower belongs. So for this one, I'm going to put it on one of the darker pink with lighter pink koozie. And I really, really love the way that looks. Okay, I think this is kind of the basic design I'm going to go with. I am going to add some more greenery in though. Let me first start off with my flower and leaving a little around the edges space so that I can add some flowers in. While not having it go over the edges to snag on things. Okay, same thing with my mugs. And this, I think, needs a little bit, I think it needs to be popped up just a little bit. So let's cut a couple pieces of cardstock to go behind it. Now you could always add more cardstock to the back or even use some foam tape. But I just wanted a little bit of dimension for the sentiment, just to pop it up just a touch. Mostly that I don't do a lot with gift bags, but I have a feeling that some of these bits may try to come off when it's in use. But the cool part of this is even if you give somebody a really sweet gift inside, they're probably going to want to keep your little piece of artwork that you did with the bag. Now, I think that is just precious. So let's take another quick look at all 4 of the bags. And you guys let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite. So we've got this one that uses the bits from I Dance. This one, it uses some ephemera pieces and thickers from one of the card kits. This one uses the small die of the month. Actually, that's actually the card kit of the month from last month. And then this one uses bits from the Open Road set and, of course, the glimmer sentiments that go with a couple of these kits this month. So I think that they all turned out super cute. You guys, you know now because I've done it. If I can do it, you can too. Check out this other video where I'm making some more projects using some amazing Spellbinders products. And you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.